By the end of the day, do your ankles feel so swollen that bending your foot is a struggle? Not mild puffiness, not the kind that disappears overnight, but swelling so severe your skin feels stretched, heavy, and leaves deep marks from socks that linger for hours. That's not normal fatigue. That's your body sounding an alarm. This type of swelling, known as pitting edema, isn't just uncomfortable. It's a signal that fluid is becoming trapped in your lower limbs, overwhelming your circulation. Gravity pulls blood downward all day long, and when your vascular system can't push it back up efficiently, fluid begins to leak and pool in your ankles and calves. This condition is often driven by venous stasis, slow, sluggish blood flow in the legs. When blood stagnates, it creates the perfect environment for inflammation, tissue damage, and in serious cases, dangerous clots such as deep vein thrombosis, DVT. This is no longer a cosmetic issue. It's a circulatory one. Most people respond by trying the usual fixes, elevating their legs, avoiding salt, soaking their feet, or wearing tight socks. These methods may provide temporary relief, but they don't solve the real problem. They treat the surface symptom while ignoring the deeper dysfunction happening inside your veins. Here's the truth most people don't hear: nighttime is your best opportunity to reverse this process. While you sleep, your body shifts into repair mode. But if you don't follow the right protocol before bed, gravity and poor circulation continue working against you all night long. What you're about to learn is a 7-part nighttime vascular reset, a targeted routine designed to flush excess fluid, reactivate circulation, and strengthen weakened vein walls before your head even touches the pillow. This isn't guesswork. It's applied physiology. By morning, the goal is simple: ankles that feel lighter, looser, and flexible again. Shoes that fit comfortably. Skin that no longer feels tight and pressured. But this only works if you follow the sequence correctly. Each step builds on the last, and skipping one weakens the entire system. And most importantly, the final step contains a clinically backed botanical combination that many specialists quietly rely on to repair vein walls from the inside out. Miss that, and you're only managing symptoms. So let's begin where true healing starts, inside your cells. In Part 2, you'll learn why swelling is often an electrolyte problem, not a salt problem, and how to trigger a powerful internal fluid release before bed. Most people are told that swelling equals too much salt. That advice is incomplete, and often wrong. Edema isn't usually caused by sodium alone. It's caused by a dangerous imbalance between sodium, potassium, and magnesium. When this balance is off, your cells cling to water like a sponge, trapping fluid in your lower limbs. Your kidneys rely on these electrolytes to regulate where water goes in your body. When potassium or magnesium levels drop, even slightly, your cells hold on to sodium. And where sodium goes, water follows. That's how pressure builds in your ankles. So instead of just removing salt, we need to restore balance. About 60 minutes before bedtime, you'll initiate what can be described as a cellular fluid reset. Start with magnesium citrate, a form known for relaxing smooth muscle tissue, including the muscle fibers that line your blood vessels. When these vessels relax, circulation improves and fluid movement becomes easier. Mix 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium into a large glass of water. Next comes the overlooked powerhouse, potassium bitartrate, commonly known as cream of tartar. Potassium works inside your cells, counteracting sodium and signaling excess water to be released. Add 1/4 teaspoon to your magnesium drink. Sip this mixture slowly. Timing matters. Drinking this while you're still upright allows gravity to assist as your kidneys begin filtering excess fluid. Wait too late, and the benefit drops sharply. This step primes your system, but it doesn't do the work alone. Important note: anyone with kidney disease or on potassium-altering medications must consult a physician before using this protocol. Once this internal groundwork is laid, your body is ready, but circulation still needs a physical push. Because when veins have been overstretched for months or years, they don't respond to chemistry alone. They need a mechanical wake-up call. And that's exactly what we do next. In Part 3, you'll learn how to force stubborn veins to pump again using a simple hot, cold method that takes less than 15 minutes. When blood pools in your ankles, your veins become passive. They stretch, weaken, and stop pushing blood upward effectively. To reverse that, we need to shock them back into action. The fastest way to do this is through thermal contrast, a process that triggers the body's natural vascular reflex known as the hunting response. You'll need 2 basins. One filled with hot water, as warm as you can tolerate, one filled with cold tap water plus ice. Start by placing both feet in the hot water for 3 minutes. This causes vasodilation, your veins open wide, pulling stagnant blood and trapped fluid toward the surface. Then immediately switch to the ice bath for 1 full minute. This forces vasoconstriction. The veins clamp down hard, mechanically squeezing fluid out of your lower legs and back toward your core circulation. Repeat this cycle 3 times, ending on cold. The final cold exposure causes a powerful rebound effect. When you remove your feet, blood rushes back in, carrying oxygen while sweeping waste and excess fluid away. This isn't comfort therapy. It's manual vascular decongestion. But even after this flush, gravity is still your enemy. If you simply lie down, progress slows. To finish the job, we need to enlist your body's most powerful circulatory tool, your calf muscles. In Part 4, you'll learn how a 5-minute movement can replace a professional lymphatic massage. After the hot and cold contrast method, your ankles are decongested, but here's the problem: if you simply lie down like normal, fluid can creep right back into the same pockets. To keep that from happening, you need a step that doesn't just rest your legs, it actively moves fluid upward. This is where your calf muscles come in. Your calves are often called your second heart, because every time they contract, they compress the deep veins running through the lower leg. That compression forces blood and fluid upward against gravity. When calf muscles are weak, inactive, or stuck in a sitting lifestyle, this pump barely works, so fluid pools in the ankles. Tonight, you're going to reactivate that pump before you fall asleep. The method is based on a simple restorative position commonly known as legs up the wall. It's easy, it's safe for most people, and it creates the best possible drainage angle, because your feet end up higher than your heart. Here's how to do it correctly: sit sideways next to a wall. Lower your back to the floor while swinging your legs upward. Scoot your hips as close to the wall as comfortably possible. Let your legs rest straight up, forming an L shape with your body. Even this position alone helps. But the real results come from one crucial upgrade: you must add movement. Passive elevation is slow. Active elevation is fast. Once you're in position, set a timer for 5 minutes. Every 60 seconds, do a focused ankle cycle. First, point your toes upward, like you're pressing a gas pedal, and hold for a count of 5. Then, pull your toes back toward your face and hold for a count of 5. That second motion, the toe pullback, is the money move. It forces a strong calf contraction, squeezing veins like a manual pump. Do this point and flex sequence 10 times per minute for 5 minutes total. What you've just created is active gravitational drainage. The wall position uses gravity to assist movement upward. The ankle flexing forces the calves to push fluid out of the lower leg reservoirs. The combination produces a pressure gradient that moves trapped fluid toward larger vessels in your thighs and pelvis, where the body can actually process it efficiently. Many people are shocked by how different their legs feel after just 5 minutes. Feet feel less tight. Ankles move more freely. That heavy stone sensation starts to fade. But now comes the next issue. Even after draining fluid, weak capillary walls can keep leaking, meaning swelling returns again and again. So in Part 5, we'll add a targeted step that helps tighten and support the vessel walls, using a simple topical blend and upward massage technique that reinforces circulation instead of just soothing the skin. Backhand index pointing right. Part 5 is where you start repairing the leaky plumbing that causes swelling in the first place. By now, you've already done the 2 biggest drainage moves. You primed your system internally, shocked the vessels with contrast water, and used active leg elevation to pump trapped fluid upward. But here's what most people don't realize: even if you drain the fluid perfectly, it can still leak right back into the tissues if your smallest vessels are weak and inflamed. That's because swelling isn't only about slow circulation. It's also about capillary permeability, tiny blood vessels becoming leaky from inflammation, oxidative stress, and poor vascular tone. When those capillaries weaken, fluid slips out into surrounding tissue, and your ankles puff up again like a sponge. So this step is about reinforcement. We're using a simple topical approach that does 2 things at once: supports vessel tone from the outside, manually guides fluid upward so it doesn't settle back down. This isn't a cosmetic lotion routine. It's a targeted vascular massage. What you need: a carrier oil, coconut oil, fractionated, almond oil, or olive oil, 2 essential oils commonly used for circulation support. Cypress oil, known for vessel toning properties, rosemary oil, known for stimulating local circulation. Mix 5 drops cypress, 5 drops rosemary into 1 tablespoon of your carrier oil. If you have sensitive skin, start with fewer drops. And if you're pregnant, nursing, or have a condition where essential oils are restricted, skip this and use plain oil with the same massage technique. How to apply it? This part matters. Sit comfortably with your legs extended. Warm a small amount of the oil blend between your hands. Start at the toes, then work upward in slow, firm strokes. Toes, top of foot, foot, ankle, ankle, calf. The key rule: always stroke toward your heart. Never massage downward. Downward pressure encourages pooling. Upward strokes encourage venous return and lymph movement. Use your palms and thumbs to apply steady pressure, especially around the ankle area, where fluid collects first, the lower calf, where reservoir swelling tends to hang around. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes per leg. This is long enough to activate circulation without irritating the skin. Why it works: cypress is often used to support capillary tone. Rosemary increases blood flow so the fluid you just moved doesn't boomerang back down. The upward massage acts like a manual drainage system, encouraging the body to keep transporting fluid out of the ankles. Now here's the important part: once you've drained and massaged, you must lock in the results overnight, because otherwise your tissues can re-expand while you sleep. In part 6, I'll show you the correct way to use night-safe compression, plus the one hydration habit that silently sabotages swollen ankles every evening. Backhand index pointing right. Don't skip part 6. This is where most people accidentally undo all their progress. At this point, you've already done more for your circulation than most people do in an entire week. Fluid has been drained, veins have been stimulated, and vessel walls have been supported. But there's one uncomfortable truth you need to hear: swelling doesn't come back because your routine failed. It comes back because of what happens overnight. This is where 2 very common nighttime habits quietly undo all your hard work, without you realizing it. Mistake number 1: using the wrong compression at night. Compression can be extremely helpful for ankle swelling, but only if the pressure matches your body position. During the day, when you're upright, stronger compression socks, often 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury, make sense. Gravity is working against your veins, and they need extra support. But sleeping in high-grade compression is a mistake. When you lie down, your blood pressure equalizes. Heavy compression that was helpful during the day can become restrictive at night, creating a tourniquet-like effect that actually slows circulation and traps fluid below the sock line. What you want at night is maintenance compression, not force. Look for light compression socks in the range of 8 to 15 millimeters of mercury, often sold as travel or flight socks. This level provides a gentle, even squeeze that helps tissues stay compact while your kidneys continue processing excess fluid during sleep. A few critical rules: ankle or calf length is sufficient. Avoid tight elastic bands at the top. If the sock leaves a deep groove, its too tight compression should feel supportive, not restrictive. Put these on immediately after your massage, while your legs are already decongested. This locks in the drainage you created. Mistake number 2: drinking too late in the evening. This one surprises people. Water doesn't leave your body instantly. Your kidneys need time to filter it, and they work more efficiently when you're upright. When you drink large amounts of fluid late at night, your body simply doesn't have time to process it before you lie down. Once you're horizontal, gravity pulls that unprocessed fluid to the lowest point, your ankles and feet. That's why a 3-hour fluid cutoff is essential. If your goal is to sleep at 10 p.m., your last substantial drink should be around 7 p.m. This includes water, tea, flavored drinks, healthy nighttime beverages. Small sips for supplements are fine. Large glasses are not. This cutoff gives your kidneys a final window to regulate fluid balance while gravity is still helping. Now here's the key: once compression and hydration are handled correctly, your body can finally shift from managing swelling to repairing the vessels that cause it. That's exactly what the final step is about. In part 7, I'll share the most clinically supported natural combination for strengthening vein walls from the inside, taken at night when your body is primed for repair. Backhand index pointing right. Part 7 is the long-term fix, don't miss it. Up to this point, everything you've done has focused on draining fluid, improving flow, and preventing swelling from returning overnight. But if you stop there, you'll always be stuck managing symptoms. To truly break the cycle, you need to address the structural weakness inside your veins that allows fluid to leak out in the first place. Chronic ankle swelling is often the result of chronic venous insufficiency. Over time, inflammation and oxidative stress weaken the walls of small blood vessels, making them porous. Fluid seeps into surrounding tissue, pressure builds, and swelling becomes a nightly routine. This final step is about repair, not surface-level relief. The two-compound vascular support strategy. There are two natural compounds that have been widely studied for supporting vein integrity and microcirculation. When used together, they work far better than either alone. First, horse chestnut seed extract, HCSE. This extract contains a compound known for helping reduce capillary permeability, meaning it helps seal vessel walls so fluid stays where it belongs. It also supports venous tone, making veins better at pushing blood upward instead of letting it pool. When choosing a product, quality matters. Look for an extract standardized to its active component. A commonly used dose is around 300 mg, taken in the evening. Second, pine bark extract, often referred to as pycnogenol. This is a powerful antioxidant that supports the collagen structure surrounding blood vessels. It helps improve microcirculation, reduces inflammation, and reinforces the structural scaffolding of veins and capillaries. A typical supportive dose is about 100 mg, taken alongside the first supplement. Why take this at night? Your body doesn't repair tissue evenly throughout the day. Deep sleep is when regeneration accelerates. Blood vessel repair, collagen rebuilding, and anti-inflammatory processes are more active during nighttime rest. By taking this combination shortly before bed, with only a small sip of water, you resupplying your body with the raw materials it needs exactly when it's most receptive. This is how you move from short-term relief to long-term improvement. One final habit that can undo everything. There's one last behavior that deserves attention because it silently reverses circulation work: leg crossing. Whether you're sitting on the couch or lying on your side, crossing one leg over the other compresses major vessels in the upper thigh. That compression acts like a kink in a hose, slowing blood return and encouraging fluid to settle back into your ankles. If you're a side sleeper, place a pillow between your knees to keep your legs aligned. If you're sitting, keep both feet flat and parallel whenever possible. Bringing it all together, this 7-part bedtime routine works because it follows logic: signal fluid release. Force circulation, drain mechanically, support vessel walls, protect results overnight, repair the root cause. This isn't magic. It's applied circulation science. And now that you understand how swelling really works, the next step is knowing what's damaging your veins in the first place. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon. That way, you'll never miss any future updates, tips, or powerful health insights that can keep you strong, active, and healthy for years to come. Your journey to better health starts right here. Don't miss out.